where we talk a little bit about our plans for the arsenal. I will start by sharing my screen and showing our white paper. Just to tie it back to our original mission and plans. So Syndicate 893, basically we're planning to create a community where of like-minded people, where we have all the news, all the systems, all the tools, all the education that we need to become profitable and to do the best trades and investments in the NFT space. So when we go to our white paper, there we show that we basically have 4 pillars of value. So one is the arsenal, which is about tools and systems, and that it includes paid tools like the trial we have currently with NFT Nerds, some discounts on other tools, and in the future we'll reach out to other projects and apps and software providers to see what else we can do depending on what the community needs and wants. But this is not the only thing when it comes to systems and tools. We will also develop our own. Because if you look around all the tools out there, there are many different ones. They all offer some nice features, but no tool offers all the nice features or has the maybe for us the right composition of specific traits or specifications that we would be looking for. So to this extent, we want to share our plans for the arsenal. So the arsenal will be led by Onsdroid, who is our main R&D person, and Dumplings, who will be our lead developer in the project. I think after the AMA, after we shared our plans, we will also share a forum. So if people have specific skills or they want to contribute to building the tools together with us, if you're a dev, if you have maybe project management experience, or maybe you have a good experience in defining specifications for those tools, or you have good ideas of tools that we could use, we welcome everybody to our team. So with this being said, I hand over the mic to Onsdroid, and he will share a bit our ideas in terms of some mind maps we developed. So Onsdroid, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Let me just switch on my feed. If people want, you could just switch over to, I guess, my screen. Let me know if it's working and people can see what I'm showing.
It is.
Okay. Perfect. So, I mean, people, as I see it in the group, have different levels of experience and different time spent in crypto or NFTs. But if you think about it, I've spent some time in different groups, whether it's alpha groups between Kongs, Neo Tokyo, or other places like Anonymize. And sometimes crypto feels like the groups feel like a big battalion of Marines. And there's nothing wrong with it, but it's hard work to get everybody aligned, doing stuff and whatever. So one of the things which I really felt great when I kind of spoke to King and Hate around Syndicate was it's a smaller group with lesser people who can kind of work closely together. And the way I see it and the way we see it is, it's like a special ops unit with SEALs and stuff, where it's a smaller bunch of people who kind of know each other a lot more intimately than larger groups with like 10,000 people or 2,000 people, 3,000 people. But eventually you start realizing that people come at it with different skill sets. Like you'd have a sniper here or somebody who's specialist in infantry or other things. But special ops units are successful because they build customized gear for themselves, right? Like as they practice, as they do stuff, they spend a lot of time, taking what's available. Sometimes using it as it is, but like building out and strapping themselves in for what's out there. Of course, they have each other's back, but another important part to all of this is how they analyze intel and recon and prepare for what's to come. They don't just like randomly show up in a place and hope to win. So if you kind of apply that back to the syndicate and what we're trying to do, and I absolutely love the whole idea of agents of the syndicate. The R&D division is about equipping the agents of the syndicate with the right tools and the right gear and the right information for them to succeed. Because otherwise, it's just a bunch of trigger happy people trying to kind of make money in crypto or do the right thing, right? Now, we just threw this in there to say not everybody is worthy of being in the special ops unit. So how do we figure it out? And if any of you've been in the financial services sector, Goldman Sachs is like just amazing at how they mine data and do stuff, right? Like a lot of it comes down to tools, intel, and information. So I think King kind of focused on the four pillars of value, and within that, the arsenal, which is kind of what we're referring to here, will focus on three big blocks: bots and tools. So bots being things which help you kind of make your life easier, or find out what's happening, or actually use NFT bots or other bots to do stuff. But it also comes down to like curated alpha to say what's happening this week, what's happening in the day. You start your day and figure out what's out there. So how do we bring that together, and like how do we build like analyzers for like how your portfolio is performing, how to win on the whitelist game, and how do we kind of enhance that whole experience, right? So as we thought through this, we've kind of come down to here to say, okay, who are we, right? So maybe we'll spend a few minutes to share what me Ons droid. So I've been in crypto for actually not that long, maybe a year or so, and I've been in NFTs lesser, but I've got into it with my head and money first. But I've spent enough time with most alpha groups between Neo Tokyo, Kongs, Anonymize, and a bunch of other new projects. I actually am an advisor to at least 3 or 4 projects. But in my real life, I actually have experience building out digital ventures and digital products, mostly on the financial services side, but like mostly digital products. So I'm hoping to bring some of that experience and knowledge between what I do in my real life, but also what I've learned in NFTs, to bring out tools and capabilities for people in the syndicate. Maybe Dumplings, do you want to share a bit about yourself as well?
Hey,
Okay,
can you guys hear me?
we can.
Perfect. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I also am relatively new to NFTs. I've been in about it since August last year. My personal background is I've been in tech. Ons gave me a personal note that I sound a bit young. I've been in tech for about 10 years in development. Self-taught programmer, left school, started a couple companies, still on company number 3, 2 and 3 at the same time. But I'm here to build fast, take sentiment from the community, and we all want to get rich together, right? So I bring product sense to the arsenal, and as well as development skills, but would really love some help if anybody here is technical, and would be happy to reach out. That's it for me for now.
Sounds good. So, King, should we just keep moving forward and then open it up for questions? Does that format work?
I think that's a good idea, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, as we look to do this, we've been building out mind maps around what are we building and how would it work, right? So, as we think about solutions, we're thinking very pragmatically on how do we prioritize things, right? So we want to say, how do we help do things which help people or members of or agents of the syndicate reduce time-consuming activities? How do we help them solve problems? How do we give them an edge to help them make money? Because if I think about it and I put myself in anybody's shoes, sorry, it's just sliding. This is what is some idea around what's top of mind for members, right? So how do I make money, and how do I manage my money, right? I think those are like 2 key blocks depending on where you are between the rat and the dragon or the bigger size wallets, right? So you want to look at where can I get whitelist, how do I get to know about the projects, what should I buy on secondary, short term, long term, how do I track my profit, how do I know what did I really make, how much did I lose on gas, how much did I lose on commission, what do you want to learn from skilled traders like Hate or anybody else who say, how do you manage risk, how do you do position sizing, how do I get an overview of the market? Today's an interesting day where some part of the world's going through a lot of pain, but that's reflected down in crypto, and you want to know the macro environment, you want to know what's happening in NFT. should you buy, should you not, like, and get some early alpha from social media. So with that mindset of saying what are people looking for, we are actually starting to break down each of those blocks into things like this. And for these, we'll actually start building out, working with Dumplings and the team, tools. So let's take this one as an example, right? If you look at NFTs, one big thing is whitelist, right? If you don't have too much capital, how do you actually use that construct to find as many new whitelists, win those whitelists, track them to get your address submitted, your role sorted, and then even figure out should you mint, should you not mint, right? Like, can you help me with bots? Can you help me with analytical tools? Maybe some people already have a portfolio of NFTs and they want to stay on top of their announcements, price alerts, research, and so forth. So each of these blocks of things that we look at, we're starting to build these mind maps, and that leads itself into building out, in a way, capabilities like this, right? So if for example some members are saying, actually I just want to get a price alert, good example, worldwide web3 floor had gone to 4 ETH, dropped to 3, and then suddenly, like today when the news broke out, it fell down to like 1.75. Now, if I had an alert set on it, I would have gotten instant ping if that was a project I was interested in, and I could have jumped on. If I wanted to buy, I could have bought it. How do we aggregate data of conversations happening inside the chat groups to say, actually, a lot of people are discussing around topic A, B, C, or project A, B, C. So we're starting to think about how do we use tools to really give us an edge, because beyond a point, I personally feel just simply going with alpha chasing items of what to buy next isn't really a long-term sustainable edge, right? You really want to know some more analytical capabilities and tools that make your life easier, as well as give you an edge that nobody else can get. So who do we need help from, right? I'm actually Neo Tokyo, in full kind of credit to people over there as well, has a community dev unit, which basically people volunteer their time to help out activity stuff. Similarly here, while we're not very specifically focused on the type of people, we're looking for people who can help us either think through this, design this, project manage this, or code this front end, back end. And I think, like King said, we're not specifically tying it down and saying you should have ABC skill set. But if you're interested to help in this space, share your experience, and I guess learn and help others build, we'd be very keen to get your help in doing so. And then as we look at what are we going to build first,
I think ready 2 hours if you before you sleep. If you're hungry, eat like yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we're not hungry. But what we're building right now as an initial start, again, we have people such as Dumplings and a few other people who are there to help us work on some of these things. We're looking to build out some quick bots which help us. These are not like sniping bots, but Discord bots, which will help us do certain activities and give us either alerts or summary on things. We're looking to build a P&L tracker that helps give a sense for people who are actually keen to track how much did they buy, how much they spend in gas, what's the net P&L for what they sold, and how much money they made. And I think another big area that we want to kind of develop on in parts is the whitelist game. So how do we track calendar of mints? How do we crowdsource things like what's the price, when is it minting, is it time for wallet submission, and maybe look at a community-based confidence score. Like if a bunch of people in Syndicate are looking to mint something and they all kind of decide close to mint that this is not looking like a good mint for XYZ reason, we know that should other people mint or not mint. So we're trying to create a crowdsourced construct which helps everybody win on the whitelist game with less capital and more return. And then with many of the tools we're looking to build, we don't have to build them all. If we find something outside we could use, we would. But like sometimes some of these tools are exorbitantly expensive. So like an example of a bidding bot, if you were to go buy it for the community, it would be like maybe 200 ETH. But if we worked as a project and we got a dev together, we could maybe build it for 50 ETH and own the IP for ourselves and keep using it and modifying it. So I think we're doing a trade-off between what we should make versus what we should get from outside in. So NFT nerds, great tool. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. We've collaborated with them and give back like a discount. So I think we want to make this a more structured construct of like breaking down every activity that we have there and say how will we help people in the community with either the tools or the knowledge on how to win on those steps. I know we've kind of covered a bunch of stuff, but hopefully this has given you a good overview of what the R&D division wants to do. And keen to maybe ask if Dumplings or Crypto King have anything to add on this. Hey King, do you have anything else you want to add?
Maybe you can share the. So we're planning to make most of these tools available on tools.syndicate893.com, where if you hold the token, you will be able to access and those tools. So we already have like a very rough, first page, and soon we will be deploying some systems. I think we're doubting between the PNL tracker and starting the build out of the whitelist game. But in general, I think what we want to achieve with the arsenal is we want to make everybody in the syndicate successful, giving them the right tool sets, and we need as a community to decide what those tools should be and could be. There are many things we can work on, and we need to, of course, set priorities. So initially, we'll go for the low-hanging fruit, right? There are a ton of easy tools that we can develop. For example, Chrome extension that would overlay scores on projects on OpenSea or something like that. But we need to pick our battles. We need to spend our resources where the community will have the biggest benefit in the beginning. So that's something. But what I'm really trying to achieve is the syndicate for me should be a community working together. Very big idea of having a crowdsourced database of. Okay, is this any better? So I think what we try to achieve with the syndicate is everybody working together, whether it's having like regular meetings in boardroom, discuss projects all together. Like we could have 1 or 2 meetings per week where we pick a project, we go through the white paper, we go through their roadmap, the community website, and is this a good project? What are the pros? What are the cons? Do we believe in the project? This is what we should be doing. We should all be working together, share our experience, share our knowledge. So also for example, the whitelist game, the crowdsourced database, I have a similar idea. We all are, a lot of us are tracking whitelists. We're figuring out when is the mint, when does the Discord open, what are whitelist requirements. If we provide a platform where everybody can give input, then it's instead of 800 people doing individual effort, 800 people can benefit of the effort of everybody that contributes. So we are thinking of doing more things like this, like having a community voting system for upcoming projects. So we have like a community mind that evaluates projects and stuff. So I think this is what we wanted to show. So very soon we will start to release first versions of some we're thinking of. We will start with an MVP type of solution, and we'll build later on. We get to use the systems and more input from the community. After the AMA, we share the recording, and we'll include a forum for people that want to sign up to contribute to the project. But right now we're open to questions. So you can either come off mute or type it in the normal channel. So I see there is one question there already. It's a lot of work and problems you're working on. How do you make sure you work on the right problem and that you prioritize the biggest ones? Well, the team that is working on it will evaluate and decide the priorities based on how much effort does it take and how much reward or what problems are we solving that benefit more. That's going to be how we can prioritize.
Yeah, can I jump in
Sure.
for a second? I think if you can get a sense of the way the current team is broken down, you want to prioritize pragmatically, right? We're all here. We're all interested in numbers as much as we sometimes invest in our gut for degen calls. I'm here to provide realistic timelines and expertise on how long I think a given project is going to work, right? And I will be working with Owens and King and really the community, right? On what the most important thing is what people will find useful, and then I will be as honest and forthright as I can be about how long it will take us, given the resources that we have, right? And if the community is interested in the whitelist game over a P&L tracker, then we can adjust accordingly. If the community has another idea, what we will do is full transparency, right? I'll tell you how long I think it'll take, and we can adjust accordingly based on the impact, the effort, because we all want to build fast and get better sooner rather than later, right? But that's all I had to say.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying.
I have a question. I actually have
Sure.
2 questions, if possible. And
Two-
I
two is
know,
possible. Do you have two masks? Then you can ask 2 questions.
yes, I do have 2 masks.
Okay, 2 questions it is.
So first question is, with the P&L tracker, because one thing is, I'm newer into the NFT space. I would say I probably have less than 60 days as far as per experience. And I want to go deep, but at the same time, it's kind of challenging for me because I'm a lot of these plays that like, oh yeah, it tripled, and it's like 0.08 to 0.21, 24, or, something where it's a lower amount. In the profit and loss, I guess I think something that would really help is like factoring in gas levels as well. And I know gas changes, or even quantity. Hey, if you pick up, ideally with the calls picking up 6 of these, just because I feel like, and I know you've said it a couple times of, hey, we just picked this one and it was 2x or it was 3x, and we look at it and it was like 0.03 to 0.09, and it's like, yes, it did 3x, but at the same time, I'm not sure how we make money off that, right? Especially
And that is
yeah.
and that is with the P&L tracker, for example, exactly what, especially for the newer people, to bring transparency on their true entry cost and their true profit on trade. And for open trades, we could for example share the break-even point at a given gas. Could over time develop something where you can input the GUI and you can calculate what your break-even point be. So I think those things, especially for newer traders, are important, that they really see, okay, this is the project, this was my gas fee, this was the commission or the royalty fee, and this is my true net profit. I think the more you start tracking that, the better you will get at fine-tuning your entries and exits. This is where a
Right.
lot of beginning people or players make their
Okay. And thank you for that. I'm acknowledging that. And then the second thing I have is just a simple request, and I know it's super early stage, but I just logged in that tools, well, not logged in, but I just pulled up that tools syndicate .com, and I noticed that the web version is not. I mean, it doesn't screen on the web very well, which is 99% of the time where I am. I'm sorry, on the phone.
No,
On
no.
mobile
This
version.
this is just something we just built it yesterday, and I said
No, I know.
make a coming soon page, so we have something to show tomorrow. This is just a mock-up.
Sure, and I'm not like I said, I understand it's totally preliminary. I just wanted to throw that out there, and I know, like I said, it's early. I just, if it could be on the
No,
list.
yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm also the dev that made the website and the minting site, so it will
Looks
be
awesome.
responsive. It'll look good on mobile.
Cool,
All right.
looks awesome. By
You
the
can
way,
rest
thank you. I
assured. Thank you.
appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh, this is a
Actually,
good question.
That's an interesting point, right? I mean, I think as we think through it between me and Dumplings, think about how to make sure that the authentication on mobile works, because if we make it a wallet connect, we just need to think through and make sure that the mobile app allows you to connect and stay logged in with your profile. But I think me and Dumplings will think about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. And I think it's stuff like this, right? Just going back to it. So I think this is one of the other questions that come up, like how would we be more transparent around what we're looking to build and stuff. Give us a few days or whatever, but we will start piecing together some of these elements in some sort of a accessible roadmap for people in the community. But what would be cool is that if you could look at it and say, actually, did you guys think about this, or how would we do this, or whatever. And even if we can't answer them, we'd be transparent and say, actually, that's a great question, we'll come back to you, or we should factor that in, or whatever. Because that's where the power of the community comes up, and we could fix stuff before it even comes out. And then, our whole approach between me and Dumplings is to be more MVP led. So we'll do something basic, get it out there, get feedback from you guys, and then keep iterating to it slowly.
Yeah, but really we want as many people as possible from the community involved to help. I mean, the more people that think about this and the more people that can contribute, either the faster or the better our solutions will be. This is in no means we're trying to push our ideas onto the community. We're actually trying to get the ideas from the community so we can throw them all in a big blender and get the best possible solutions out there. I mean, we're trying to build for the community, right? Not for ourselves. So the more input we can get and the more assistance we can get, the bigger the benefit for everybody involved. But you've seen the Mindweb. We definitely have a ton of ideas we want to execute. So there is no lack of ideas and thoughts about what we should build. And resources, if the help is not coming from within, then we'll just recruit externally. This is the commitment we made anyway to the community project. So if there are questions, please come off mic or type them in the channel.
I don't necessarily have a question, but thanks.
As TV, I think you broke.
Oh yeah, I'm back. And I really like the idea to have 1 to 2 meetings a week and just discuss projects, and that would really help everybody, especially the newer people here, as
Yeah.
I am included, one of them.
No, that's something I discussed already with the Alpha guys. So I think we will launch that early next week. I know Hate is now traveling to Miami together with Ed. So I think over the next 2-3 days, those guys will be busy. But yeah, it's something we want to execute. I think those community sessions are going to be important. That's also why we want to do more and more in voice chat, because our initial idea was to have a big group of people talking all day in voice chat on their future projects, apps, on opportunities. But I feel we need to cultivate and stimulate that a little bit. Understand that we're still a small group. We only a third of our mint so far. Depending on people, locations, a lot of people at any time. I'm sure we can cultivate and people hanging chat in the future.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, nice. I'm definitely excited.
Yep.
yeah, that's something I wanted to say to all of you guys. So don't hesitate. We're most of the time hanging out here in the boardroom voice chat. Even if you're not talking and you're feeling shy or something, just come. We're talking about a lot of projects all the time. There's there are a lot of information during those voice chats. So yeah, just feel free to come. Also, we have the lo-fi radio, so you can just hang out, chill here, and we get to know you.
Hey, just wanted to say hi. I'm I joined the project a couple of weeks ago. I'm new to the NFT. Well, yeah, kind of new to the NFT space. I joined in July last year, and yeah, it would be really helpful for me. The thing that I struggle the most is to do my own research. So I find a lot of value in this group, but yeah, those meetings, weekly, bi-weekly meetings, when more experienced people analyze projects, will be really helpful for me to start understanding how to do my own research, and it will level up the whole syndicate game. So yeah, those will be truly beneficial. Yeah, just
Yeah.
wanted to say that and present myself.
Thanks for sharing, and I think we should and we will definitely execute. I think early next week we will do them structurally, and we'll probably record them even. So for people that are asleep, they can watch it afterwards, like a weekly call or call twice per week, where we do exactly that. It can be evaluating upcoming projects. It can be evaluating projects that longer term holds or investments, and we can share how we approach it, thoughts about it. We can even have a community vote on how does everybody feel about the project, and then we can document. So, and again, this is my dream of the syndicate, right? Everybody working together, sharing our thoughts, our ideas, our experiences, because that's what the true power of the syndicate. Group of people dedicated to achieve the same thing.
And just to add to that, I remember when I joined, right, there was somebody who was trading one of the NFTs, and in one of the boardroom sessions, which is why I just gonna iterate like what Atom Boy said. A bunch of people were looking at the floor on the live stream like this, and then like Hate was giving feedback to whoever it was and said, if you want to get out, this is what I would suggest you do. I think the floor is weakening. If you want, just like exit it and so forth, right? So if you actually use the power of the syndicate and the boardroom, if you are struggling with something, you could actually log into the room, and it's possible some of the more experienced guys are in the room, and either they have access to the or you have access to, and you could just like iterate that live trade as well as you think about it, because like for somebody who's new, they may or may not use, for example, NFT, but somebody could go in and say, look, the ladder's quite steep. If you want to get out, I would say price it here or wherever, and so I think it's that experience which King also highlighted is extremely powerful, and I really encourage people to spend more time in the boardroom and just hang out, because you'll get to meet more people, but you can ask a lot more questions there.
Yeah, that is exactly true. The strongest connections and the best learning you will from interacting directly with the people in this community, whether it's the alpha guys or other members. We have a lot of experienced members in the Discord also. So really make use of this voice chat. This is by far the biggest asset we're offering to all you guys. The possibility to talk directly with other people that are doing the same things that you are doing, that have the same struggles or that are seeing the same opportunities. This is really where you can have the biggest advantage of a community like this.
Yeah. I mean, I know somebody picked up that comment as well, right? Like, I'm trying to sell a large apartment right now, and I've been monitoring the price on this, and you can see the jump is from 6.3 ETH to 8 and 10. Like, it's just like 10 sales away or whatever, 15, 20 sales away. And like, where do I price myself? And yesterday, just before the market crashed, I exited one apartment at 8.9 ETH. And now, like, just one day later, it's down to 6.3. So I'm just like waiting like a hawk for the next opportunity to exit my next one. But if you're in the same position, even if I share with you, maybe you have a question, or if you're struggling, we could at all like sit and advise you, say, how should we?
Yeah, and if I can add to that, having all you guys in the chat talking about what you're struggling with, or even understanding how you're working today, will allow the Arsenal guys to come up with tools that can support you in a better way. The more we understand how you guys are doing your trades today, what information you're looking at or what information you're not looking at, will allow us to provide you with additional tools that can benefit the entire community. So because right now what we suggest is based on the experience we have and the team has, but of course we make assumptions also as to what does the community really point benefit the majority of the community. But the more we can interact with you guys, the better we can fine tune what the will be.
I was about to say that maybe something that at least for me could be useful is to know how experienced guys in the community, I don't know, their daily routine, how they approach the market. Maybe it's going to sound stupid what I'm about to say, but I don't know. Did they wake up and the first thing, what is the first thing that they check? How they approach the day? Because right now that I am on the syndicate, I kind of started developing this routine that I wake up, go to the boardroom, check the threads that I'm on. But later on, as the day evolves, and of course my real life jobs is demanding. I work in IT, so it's like I kind of lost track of the routine, and then I check the syndicate once again during the night when my kids are sleeping. So I don't know, it's not working really well for me. So if some of you guys could share your routine, I'm not saying I'm going to copy because everyone has a different schedule and life and priorities, but maybe that could be useful. For instance, I barely use NFT nerds, and that is something I could do more. Well, that's pretty
It
much it.
depends. It depends a bit what type of trader you are, right? And what yeah, well, it depends what type of trader you are. And if you translate that to, let's say, the traditional stock markets, you can go from day traders to long-term investors. And I think if you're limited in time, probably focus a little bit more on the things you can control, which is grinding whitelists, pretty safe. If you do it in the right projects, investing in long-term projects where there is an opportunity for growth that have a future. If you don't have a lot of people in the space that are doing basically day trading, they're monitoring the entire day, quick opportunities where they can go in for a quick flip. A quick flip can be anything between 1-2 minutes and a day. But you really have to be full-time dedicated to the space if you want to place like that. And those, if syndicate and those plays come, most likely you will miss them. But that's okay. I mean, you can still get a lot of value from term value plays or from grinding out whitelists and minting those and flipping those. It all depends on your personal profile a little. But things like this, I think once we start having those meetings, you will gain a lot of experience from understanding what other people are doing. What is their daily routine, because we all have a routine. So that will be very beneficial for everybody. So I take this on board. And I will make sure as of next week we start having those calls and we'll record when possible, so that the people that cannot attend at least capture learnings from those.
Ian, one of the things, King, we can look to
Go
do.
ahead.
Sorry, Dublin. One of the things we can look to do is actually lay out a few steps of what we think could be things people look at. Like I'll, for me, right, I actually go back in and look at this every day, or actually a few times in the day. And then I can say that, I don't know if you guys know this, but Invisible Friends launched, I think yesterday, and it's already done like 9,500 ETH of volume. So it's like sucked away so much money from the market in NFTs that people would have pumped into this. And then you look at like which projects are going where, what's happening to floors, and then sometimes you look at like broader things. So I think if people can lay out things that they're interested in. Some may just be very simple things that we start with as just a flow of steps, but over time we could actually automate those such that a snapshot of this is sent every day or twice a day on a Discord chat or something, so that people don't have to go to different places to check it. But if people bring out questions that they're struggling with, then it'll help us from the R&D team to like really say what problems should we solve and what's important to you. Sorry, Dumplings, I know you were saying something.
Yeah. During the last few questions, right, the common theme seems to be that the newer community members are looking for a way to learn, right? Learn more from the more experienced traders. And our last question seemed to be more specifically almost one-on-one coaching, right? And in tech, we have this concept of office hours from managers and leaders at X company. And I was thinking, since we have that coin system, that may be an item that, and I can't speak for some of the more experienced traders because I am not, but if there were volunteers, they set up time slots, and these members who are newer to the space, maybe they can purchase a 15-minute window in which they get one-on-one coaching, right? And that seems like a pretty low-level, low-tech solution to solve that problem for these members.
I think that would be a good idea. I mean, because some of them, like we always believe, some of them will be solved with technology, and some will be otherwise. And I think both Hate King and everybody else has managed to get some good people into Syndicate, and most of us would be able to like spend our time. Like I could eyeball this. Like when I started off, I wouldn't know how to use this, right? But like I can eyeball this and say, actually, NFT words down like from 17 to 12, Azuki's down. Something's up. Where's the volume going? What happened the last 7 days to what happened the last 24 hours? And like 3 minutes in, I roughly know what's happening to the. But if we could help share that routine, we could even help people out, but also figure out how do we make that routine into tools that people can check much more quickly across various things. Like one of the simplest thing I do is I actually have this, I don't know if you can see my toolbar, but like all of the projects that I'm invested in now, like I have them on like quick checks. So I can go back in and check the floor like without having to go. Like this one jumps from 2.59 to 4 ETH in like 20 items, and how does it work, and should I go in, should I wait, and stuff like that.
I think another thing that we can do in the short term is just, look, everybody loves to celebrate the good trades, right? That's fun. You like to recognize your wins. But, I think the value of this group is also making sure that we're just having open communications, and we're all going to have wins, and there's going to be times we have bad trades, or maybe it's not a bad trade, maybe it's a short-term bad trade that you end up stuck in. We've had a lot of conversations about Ali as an example of that. There were several of us that are probably still holding that, and so I think it's important that we also are just open to talking about, hey, when we missed getting out of something, what were we thinking, right? Or why didn't we get out? And together as a group, we learn from those things, right? And same thing when we exit. I think take the extra step of if you're talking about where you exited, well, why did you? Was it something in a chart? Was it, well, I was only targeting, I was content with a 20% gain, didn't feel like, there was enough potential reward upside for the risk. All those things I think are valuable too, and just helping everybody come up with their own personal strategy.
That's a very valid point, actually. Sorry, I know King.
To piggyback on that, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. To piggyback on that, it may not be a bad idea to have like maybe a running poll or something where it's like 5 or 6 kind of mistakes in that matter of, hey, I'm stuck in, I got stuck in this project because I didn't sell out, or even FOMO on the entry side, to have a running poll, because I think identifying you can't identify what you're doing in the heat of it, but if we all look back at it, especially if we're tallying that stuff, then we can very very easily see what a commonality of what all of us are doing wrong. So I think a poll, if possible, would be awesome. A running poll of, hey, oh man, that one, I know what I did after I did it, which is, hey, look, it was up to up 200%, but I didn't get out, but identifying that and timelining that data wise is a huge thing.
For sure. I just want to share one of my losses, if it helps everybody. I have a full bag of it. I sat this through till 12 ETH, and I actually have some like rare ones which went to 20 ETH as of January 10th. And right now they're sitting at 2.5 ETH. So look, I fully agree with you, and I think we all like need to learn from each other on how to get out. And I actually think it's a good idea to know or find, again, it goes back to two parts, right? One is the tooling that we enable to help people to get out, but it's also just the overall education for people to see like the trend of what's not looking well to get out. Because eventually it starts showing in the volume. Like like sometimes I can almost now sense that the volume's not pulling through. And like if you looked at this, and I mean you can see this NFT trends a little better, but like I would go back in and start seeing like our transactions happening spread out far away. And if they are, that means like it's not pulling enough and the volume will just suddenly crash. So it's a mix of what we've learned and then how do we share it with people, but how do we then take that into tools that make that easier to assess.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we still have our two other pillars that will need to come on stage as well. One being education. So definitely in the education part for the less experienced traders, we will provide materials that will help you get a better understanding on how to approach your trades, what could be daily routine, etc. And also there we're looking for input from the community, right? If I know what the biggest needs are in the community, we can accommodate that, and that's the first materials we could create. This being said, on just general trades, there is a reason why the most successful traders do one or two things: either flip fast or invest at times in long-term hold. Most projects, and you've seen it probably already, they have a certain cycle they go through. And the problem is also that cycle. I mean, this space moves so fast that your frame on trading from 3 weeks ago probably today is outdated, and your frame from today probably in 2 weeks from now, which makes it for a community like ours very difficult to give any fixed instructions. Just it changes too quickly to try and nail down the exact instructions. You have to learn how to interpret the market and to know how to play different stages of the market to make optimal profit. But there is one thing you can never do wrong. If you profit and you take it, that is never a mistake. I think what people do wrong is they hold on too much to projects, and even with projects not screwing up, you have to understand, for example, what the roadmap of the project. When is their next big milestone? Is it like 6 months out? 1 month? What are the risks? Can they deliver what they promise? So quick profits, while they're not maybe that big, they are stable. You will build your bankroll. But yeah, as you grow and learn, you to understand the cycles and when to get in and get out. Like for example, now I have invisible friends. I was one of the unlucky ones. Was not able to whitelist and mint it, but my mind, especially with the market conditions, this I think this is a very good investment long term. But I'm waiting till the post reveal, until like the initial hype on the project dies off. But I know that these guys have an excellent marketing plan, and they are looking to build a very strong. So for me, this is an investment that will probably come through in the next 6 to 12 months. But I also know that before that period, the excitement will cool off. People will need liquidity, especially depending on. Well, we all know if it goes down, everybody's selling. If it goes up, everybody's selling. So I have two excellent periods I can wait for people that need liquidity to try and step into the project. There are many projects like this, and understanding where they are in their life is important. Trying to buying into hype is in this space deadly. But securing your profits is probably one of the smartest. And if I look at guys like Hate, this is what they do very well. They consistently take smaller, like 100, 200% profit. It's enough for them. Or they buy, they take their initial investment, they let ride. I've rarely been able to see Hate buying at the top in a project. He times his buys really, really, really well. But yeah, as we grow and as we talk more with the community, I think we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, one of my learnings just to share with everybody is the market's very, very fickle-minded in NFTs. Like I think I pulled up Zipsy, right? I think King rode it for like maybe a couple of ETH. I rode it from like mint to 5 ETH. Eventually sold at 3. Right now it's at like 0.4. Just because the theme's out, the project's out. So I think as you work through it, just spend much more time. Again, coming back to spending more time on the boardroom to meet people who like King said, Hate and others, and I mean I have some learning as well, like where we can share what we've learned. And if you have smaller capital, the whitelist game is something that we're very keen on making it easier for people to win on, because that's a low risk way of trying to make your money work. The market's very weak right now, so a lot of the mints will not do well, but when the market picks back up, the mints will just start booming. Any other questions or thoughts, I guess? We're hoping that this excites people. Again, our idea is to also get volunteers for people who are willing to spend some time with us. It would be a good opportunity for people who volunteer time to even learn from whatever we can share, but also help build tools and ideas for the community and for themselves in this process.
So thank you all for attending the meeting. We'll be sharing and the recording and a forum for people that want to contribute later today. Catch you guys later.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.